everyone. Welcome to a Behind the Bench webinar. My name is John DeBenedictis. I'm the Executive Director of the National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada. We've been putting on these webinars for it's our third season right now. And we've had a whole host of coaches from all over the world. And we hope to continue these and build some sort of history for Canada. Today, we're continuing our series of remembering Canada's national teams. And this time we're looking at the Benito Floro era. Benito's not here, but we have his son who was assistant coach and also coach of one of the other national teams, as well as David Edgar, who played on the national team. Issey Farran also played. We're waiting for Kenny Stamatopoulos. Did I say that right? And Tosan Ricketts won't be available. Now, hosting the session will be a veteran sports broadcaster, Alf de Blasis, who's called many of the CPL games. He's been with Omni Television and Tele Latino for years, and he was the first actually to broadcast or play-by-play man for a National Hockey League game in Italian. Holds the record for that. So he's been around a long time. Alf, thank you very much for hosting this, and it's yours.
Thank you so much, John. It's a real pleasure for me to be hosting this webinar today on behalf of the NSCAC, and I'm pleased to welcome the three men that will be with us, and hopefully a fourth gentleman who should come along a little bit later on. They all either coached or played under Benito Floro on our Canadian national team from 2013 to 2016. So let's begin with Antonio Floro, of course, Benito's son, who joined the program with his father to serve as an assistant coach for the senior national team. And he also managed Canada's under-23 team during that spell. He was also the head coach of the Pan American Games, the Canadian representative at the Pan Am Games that were played right here in Toronto. So welcome, Antonio. You're joining us from Valencia, Spain. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you, Al.
Next, we'll go from the back out. Is a former national team defender and midfielder who won 42 senior caps for Canada, scored 4 goals and added 3 assists, and he played the majority of his club football in England with the likes of Newcastle United and Sheffield United, Burnley and Birmingham City before returning to North America with brief stops in Vancouver and Ottawa. But before his retirement, he became a 2-time Canadian Premier League champion with Forge FC, where he's now an assistant coach, David Edgar. Hey, David.
Hey, how are you? Thanks, Al.
Good. Thanks for joining us too. And next, he's a former national team forward who won 38 caps for Canada over a span of 10 years, scoring once. His club football took him all across the world, from Singapore to Denmark to Australia and parts in between. He's had spells in MLS with both Toronto FC and Montreal Impact, and he also joined Pacific FC for their inaugural season in the Canadian Premier League. He's still playing at age 38 at a club called Tárrega. Is that correct, Issey, in Spain?
He's no, that was last year.
Oh, that was last year. Okay, so you moved on. So Antonio, you were right.
Yeah.
Issey's moved on.
Yeah, it's called Cubellas. It's a Catalan league.
Perfect.
Technically 6th division, I think it is.
Great. Well, you're calling from Barcelona, Spain, and of course he is Issey Nakajima Farran. So thank you all for joining me today. We are waiting for Kenny Stamatopoulos, the goalkeeper from the better part of those 3 years under Benito Floro. He is currently traveling with his club team, AIK, in Sweden. So hopefully he will join us during the course of the next hour. And during the hour, we'll reminisce about some of the experiences these men had coaching or playing for Canada and for Benito Floro specifically. You can interact with my guests anytime during this event. If you'd like to ask a question or leave a comment, simply type it in the chat box and we'll try to get to it in the next 60 minutes. So the Benito Floro hiring kind of marked a bit of a departure for Canada Soccer, who had entrusted only Canadian coaches with the manager's job for almost a decade, since Holger Osiek left the post in 2003. So, Antonio, maybe we can start there. When the opportunity was offered to your father, what appealed most to him when he chose to accept the position as the manager of the Canadian national team?
Oh, wow. I remember the day he called me that he got a call from an agent from Canada, who was another friend of another agent who was working in Spain. And yeah, they asked my dad if he would like to coach Canada. For him, was the first time he coached a national team. So he, in that moment, had another offer to go for another big club in Africa when he was before. But we were in having dinner, discussing the what to do. And I said, Dad, you coach many teams, but Canada is a national team. And it's a beautiful country. We've never been there, but we were in US. But I mean, I think it's better option if you go to Canada. Even the salary was lower, right? But I thought that for my dad was better opportunity. Will be more exciting the experience in Canada, and why not try to fight for the World Cup? In a couple of days we make a report about the team, and we decide to go. I mean, we decide to say yes to those agents, and after they talk to the Canadian Soccer Association, and they call us to go there to have a meeting in person, and that happened.
And so your father took over through the latter part of 2013. So in September, there was a first camp in Spain.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask both yourself and the players what that first camp was like. And I know I believe you were all selected, and you played 2 friendlies during that time. So maybe give us a sense of what you recall about that very first camp and meeting Benito and Antonio and the staff, and what stood out for each of you about the new coaching staff, the new technical staff, and the new approach to the Canadian national program.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it was new. It was new for everyone. It was fresh. There was a lot of bodies that came into that first camp.
Right.
So
I think there were over 30 players, right, Dave?
Yeah.
3 teams.
Yeah. So that was it was different. It was a different sort of environment that we were used to. But it felt like we were going to be onto something consistent. I think that was the outlook that the guys were left with, and it was a good first step in what was to come. So, but yeah, I remember it was good. It was a good environment. I remember we had to. I'm not sure about the baked apple at 6 o'clock in the morning. Was it, Antonio? We have the first camp, but
too early. Yeah, I don't remember the time. But it was
baked apple and an orange juice, and but it was but no, it was.
Was
fun.
Because it was too hot. It was
baked apple and orange juice. That was the breakfast.
Yeah, that was our. It was our free. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, now I remember.
Director of practice.
Yeah.
But
no, it was new.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just the whole thing of because the guy has no filter. So I think that was a real nice kind of change, having that kind of vulgar kind of coaching style towards the players. And yeah, he was very vulgar, in Spanish, not so much in English. And I really liked it. I really liked that kind of, I don't know, that is very Spanish. That's a very Spanish kind of character. So I thought it was really nice. I really liked it. Now that you mentioned about the apple, I remember how excruciating that was in the morning. I completely forgot about that. But I still remember he called me into, I think, Istanbul just before that camp to meet Benito and go see Atiba's game and Milan, who was both playing in Turkey at the time. I think there was maybe Ian Hume as well. I think, did he fly in at that time? But he had like 3 or 4 guys who were kind of in Europe at that time, kind of get together and have a talk with Benito, and I was just kind of happy to be in that circle. That he thought I was going to play a big role in that first whatever year. So yeah, I mean, as a player, once you get that sort of trust from the get-go, it was just like, how can you dislike the coach that kind of likes certain aspects to your game? So for me, it was a nice start.
Thank you for watching this short preview video from the National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada. To see the full video, plus have access to hundreds of other coaching videos, blogs, webinars, and podcasts, plus free and discounted coach education courses and other soccer merchandise, plus to have exclusive access to register for all future NSCAC conventions, both live and online, click on the link below to become a member of the NSCAC today. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as your continued support allows us to continue to provide coach education and coach development resources to soccer coaches across Canada and worldwide. Thank you again for your continued support, and we look forward to seeing you at future NSCAC events.